Welcome everybody to the Women's Asia Cup final day, the third place game between Australia and New Zealand. Neither team would like to be in this game, but there's a medal to play for, and in this case, a lot of local rivalry. Australia having lost to China and New Zealand having lost to an incredibly impressive Japanese team yesterday will face off for this third place in the Women's Asia Cup. For New Zealand, they haven't beaten Australia for a very, very long time. Since 2001, it's been 20-0 for the Australians. The final is at 3 o'clock local time, but the attention right now is on this third place game. And can New Zealand get a medal at the Asia Cup for the first time? They'll be introduced to the crowd first. I'm Mark Clark, with me is Laurie Chiswick. Laurie, both teams obviously would have preferred to be in the final, but this is a huge opportunity to underline that both teams have qualified for the Olympic qualifiers to get that third place.
Absolutely, and both teams, whilst yes, they are disappointed, a bronze medal is a great result, and it's something you want to bring home, especially New Zealand, who have had very, very few opportunities to even be playing for a medal game. So both teams will want to finish strongly and finish the tournament on a positive note. Well,
New Zealand, we've covered their progress since day one with that huge win over Korea, which basically set them up to find themselves in the semi-final, qualifying for the Olympic qualifiers next February. And they're on a real high. As you say, this is a unique opportunity for them in Asia Cup basketball, and beating Australia just adds a little spice to the opportunity.
Well, there's a rivalry, and I don't know if I'd say it's a fierce rivalry or maybe a friendly rivalry, but once they hit the court, they will both be, doesn't matter that some of them are teammates domestically, they know each other well, but they're going to want to come out with the W.
Well, Australia had lost the semi-final to China. Again, another impressive performance by the Chinese. Come here with a number of players not present on the team, but it's all about the players who are here, and they've done a great job to qualify for the Olympic qualifiers in February, and now they've got an opportunity to underline that with the third place finish in this Asia Cup.
Well, I think that's everybody's first goal, is to get to that qualifying tournament, make sure that you're there. You're going to be trying for the Olympics in Paris next year, but secondly, you want to be in a medal game, and both teams find themselves in that situation this afternoon.
We'll talk about it more after the national anthems of both countries, starting with New Zealand.
For the national anthem of New Zealand. Please remain upstanding for the national anthem of Australia.
Well, the traditional exchange of mementos of the game at the halfway line. We're going to get a chance to look at the third team on the floor. The officials' teamwork as important as every other team out there. Chin Chun Chuang from Chinese Taipei, Kumiko Kumagai from Japan, and Ying Yu from China will take charge of this third place game. Laurie, we're going to get a chance to look at the starting lineup for New Zealand. No changes, but obviously there's a big issue with them in terms of rotations.
Well, this lineup has been very, very steady right from game one, and you know, they've got some real shooting power in Charlize Ledger-Walker, who is leading her team in second overall in the competition. So she's really key. But yes, their guard rotation, Taylor Dalton won't be playing today. She's not suited up. Just a little bit uncertain about some concussion protocols. So they're erring on the side of safety, and she won't be suiting up and be in that rotation.
And she's been a real energy provider coming off the bench in every single game for Coach Malloy, who's in shot right now. And you've got to love the way they're prepared really specifically for each opponent, and the way that they've actually got contributions across the roster.
And none more so, Guy Malloy will know every little individual scout for these Australian players, as he's coached many of them over a course of his career. So individually, but he's prepared that team very well as a team defense, team offense.
The Australian starting lineup, when we get a look at it, will be the same as yesterday evening. And yeah, you mentioned it yesterday, Madison Rochi has really has developed into a starter over the course of the tournament.
I think it was a good switch putting her in the starting lineup, and because of that too, she's just gotten from strength to strength each game. She's a feisty defender, but she's gotten herself to the rack and shot some really quality shots. But coming off the bench, Keely Frawling has had a massive impact on this game every time she steps onto the floor.
Well, certainly a roster that goes deep, and they use a pretty much 8-9 player rotation, but all 12 have gone in games and contributed for Coach Shimon. And you know, it's a new experience for him, but he really has done a great job at his first international tournament.
He has, and there was a lot of pressure on him the other day when, you know, that game there, they had to beat Korea in order to get into the top four to qualify for the Olympics. And there's no easy games in this tournament, and certainly he's had an even spread of scoring, an even spread of minutes throughout, like you say, probably the top 8 or 9 players, and I'm sure that will continue today.
Well, we're going to get a chance to get into the huddles for these last instructions, but short rotation for New Zealand. They've got to look after their key people, but they have got increasing minutes from people as the tournament gone on, as we're in the TISO countdown to tip-off. I mean, Ezra McGoldrick and a number of other bench players have grown in their contribution as well, and without Dalton, they're really going to need people to step up.
Well, I think they need to win this game by committee. You know, they certainly don't average as many points as Australia. Right now, they're averaging almost 65 points a game, so it's really critical that everybody steps on the floor, contributes offensively, and then they play that team defense.
Okay, rim runs. Right, let's go.
Well, the Opals will be favourites for this game, but once the ball's been, once we get to tip-off, this is going to be a matchup that I think New Zealand are going to want to take the opportunity that's in front of them. So they're going to play hard, as they always do. Will they be able to use the size advantage? Not so much at the 5, but at the 4 that Australia have. They have real depth in those inside roles.
Well, they do, and I think they have to look inside to go to Scherf and stretch the floor with Garvin, see if they can play an inside-outside game. But New Zealand, they need to take care of the basketball. They need to start out strongly.
Well, wherever you're joining us from, welcome to Sydney, Australia, in their yellow, and the New Zealand Tall Ferns in the black. Ledger-Walker off that pick and roll that has been so productive for them. Stops and pops and gets the roll.
And how often, Mark, have we seen that throughout the tournament? That is just trademark for her.
And she does such a good job. If the big zones, does a great job coming off that pick and roll. Imagine comes off the high screen, comes back. Just to break the defense down, gets to the ring for 2.
As we've said over and over, Madgen's not got the explosiveness, but she's got the caginess, she's got the IQ. She can really read her defense well.
Looks to be more of a score with Watchthe at the point as well. So there's the handoff. Back down the lane for two, and both teams getting to the ring. Aggressive start both ways. Watchthe's fouled as she pushed hard. And there you see, Chef just sort of zones it. She's always going to pull up in that gap and really is effective, followed by the straight down the gut of the defense. And New Zealand have started very, very well. Madgen for the two is good, and so has she.
It's great to see Madgen have a scoring mentality, and you need it when you come off an out-of-bounds play like that. Catch and shoot.
Edgewood Walker has it knocked away. First turnover. Shreve leads the break. Watchthe takes it over. And they hit the second side. Madgen looks in at Garvin, gets it high-low. And there's a whistle on the play. Wow. And there you go. That catch and shoot that you talked about. When you're in rhythm like that, players at this level will just make shots. That high-low is going to be something that you expect to see that a lot.
I do. I think there's a real good 1-2 punch with Garvin and Scherf.
That's tough defensively by Stella. Beck just took the space and said, I'm here. Takes the offensive contact.
Foul on Alice Kunuk.
See, she's there and she just pushes her off. Entitled to her defensive space. Nice match up at the point. Walker turns off the screen, has a look at her options. Beck, New Zealand guilty of standing still against Japan yesterday, but already moving the ball a little better today. Here, deep on the clock. Has to kick. Ledger Walker's got to put it up. It is way short. That's a great series by the Opals. Really didn't get turned throughout the whole of that possession.
No, they stay attached to their offensive player. They made the right rotations.
Madgen, who's getting a lot of touches early. Really focal point offensively at the moment. Looks inside. Shreve goes to work. Goes to the right hand off the glass. Can't get it to drop. A lot of help from New Zealand to try to force it through the double team. Ledger Walker in transition. Has just had such an assured tournament. Reed, far side of the ring, is fouled, and if there's trademark Ledger Walker, that's trademark Reed.
Absolutely, that's just what I was going to say. The amount of times we've seen her catch and go, rip it. She went middle that time, trying to finish on her left side. Tough to defend if you don't have if you're not got position or aren't really ready for that split line help.
Well, we expected it to be tight, especially early, and New Zealand have come out very positively. Have a chance to lead on the second of these three throws. But I'm with you. I think they pretty much have to have the perfect game for them to stay in this. And they lead at 5-4 early. 7:37 remains in quarter one. Well, Watchthe advances the basketball. Madgen again gets an early touch, and if that's Tapia's shoulder, that's especially with Dalton out of the lineup.
Well, she looks in a lot of strife there, and immediately she came off, and we know it's strapped from a previous injury. That is not a good sign for the New Zealand team.
Let's take a look. Oh, just the elbow went straight into it, not in any way an elbow like looking to elbow, just contact. And lucky Australia there with that turnover, just a deflection off the defense, but 7:22, 9 seconds remain on the possession. Madgen again comes off the same play, looks to go to work, gets it deep, tries to force it up, doesn't get it to go, but will go to the free throw line. And how about the amount of times Tess Madgen is seeing the basketball?
Well, and I feel for Grace Hunter, who's just come on replacing Talia, who hasn't seen a lot of minutes. She's now guarding the player that's seen the ball the most. She's got a big job ahead of her, but Madgen's really in an aggressive mindset.
Tess Madgen, clearly they've said they're going to go at that spot, and she really has taken that responsibility and looking to make things happen.
I think as captain of the team too, and to, you know, she has to lead the way. I'm sure they're disappointed in you know, not being in a gold medal way, so in the gold medal game, so she has to lead the way in how they're feeling.
Beck gets her own rebound, goes back up for two, and tough finish. Stayed with the play.
And they're going to need Stella Beck to step up. She can't just be a facilitator this game. I know she's been a real glue player and done all the right things, but to see her stepping up offensively, they'll really need that.
Garvin on the step back for two, sweet finish. And I just wish they found her, they would find her with the ball more often in those situations. She's so effective. Madgen now gets it herself. He takes the steal and pushes. Again, attacks the middle, kicks. Rochi goes baseline, needs a pass, gets broken up. Whistle on the play, and
Three seconds in the key there. Not often we've had that call this tournament.
it's a great second effort by Beck. We haven't had that 3-second call that much, and it wasn't really an obvious one either on that occasion. But here's Ledger Walker on the reposition on the screen, but Davidson pops. She's not going to shoot that. 7 on the shot. Davidson, first opportunity, but fumbles it. Madgen leads the break, 3-on-2. New Zealand do a good job at getting back. Garvin for D is short, and Davidson clears up the mess. Walker looks to attack it. Davidson times the cut well, but Garvin gets her hands on it. That'll be a jump, and the possession arrow is with Australia.
Good active hands by Darcy Garvin. Recognized that Davidson on the way to the basket, she could just get a little piece of it, which she did, cause that jump ball situation.
Froling checks in. I mean, you made the point before the game. Froling's had just a tremendous tournament in terms of contributing across the stat line.
We see the youngster Tamilo on the court, 18 years of age, getting some early minutes in this game.
Froling has a look, hands it off. Richie. It's a little messy, but Madgen makes up for the mess, but a great penetration, but can't complete. And New Zealand come down with it. And why wouldn't you think that Stella Beck's going to come down with it? That's really where she contributes to this team. As Garvin sits down, Tess Madgen has 5 of the 7 points, and as the aggressor on the last possession, it's really is taking responsibility. McGoldrick in the game for New Zealand. Crystal Ledger-Walker has come in for her sister, puts it on the floor, gets to the keyway, floats one, soft touch for 2.
And they need to make sure that their bench players, when they come on, stay assertive as well, as we just saw from Crystal Ledger-Walker.
The tough one in the lane is good. Kimmick really tough penetration, gets the soft touch on the shot, gets it to go. Offensive foul, Jamilo. Done very well, New Zealand, when they've got to the glass. Koenig.
Alice Koenig had a game-high 16 points, 5 rebounds against China yesterday. Was one of the shining lights for Australia in that game.
Into the half court, Froling will hand it off. It's better tempo, they hit the second side quickly. Froling steps through, second move off the glass is sweet.
That was a great finish over the outstretched arms of Tamilo.
Legend Walker just about hangs on. McGoldrick hands it off to Hunter. That's not an offensive foul. The pick is designed in that situation for contact. And Guy Malloy making the point. New Zealand in the penalty, still with 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter. And again, it's much better when Australia move it then. Sticks a little bit into the inside, running with a little step back two, sweet touch. Guy Malloy is going to take the timeout. That little lateral screen, little flex cut has really paid dividends the last couple of times down for Australia on the ball reversal. Get a replay of it right now, and you're going to see how wide open Keely Froling was. Let's take a listen to Coach Malloy.
Shah come in for Grace. Okay, really liking the good terror screens. We'll wear a couple of bag balls, but don't make yourself shy on hitting on the picks. Okay, really wanting us to shark out of the middle. So whether we turn shake into a fist or fist into a shake, let's really stay at that. And the ball movement on the second side is crisp, so we've got to. So I love how you go into the bucket. That's really good. This play here, 5-man dribble handoff, let me through, and then bring it over the top so we can bump. And then on the post up, keep it going underneath. Okay, here we go. Shark here.
Oh, we're so used to seeing a lot of threes in this competition. It's almost refreshing, if that's the right word, to see only 1 3-point attempt so far in the game, each team.
Well, and you can also notice the difference in the pace of this game. There's not that fast transition type game, and you know, this game suits both these teams.
Yep. Coach Malloy didn't talk about that, almost that flex cut that Australia have run. See if they can find McGoldrick with the three is off. Davidson's on the glass, but she's not going to rebound in any shape or form. Melanie Maley, who's just been a phenomenon on the glass for the Opals. Needs an inside touch, but Madgen's going tough again. Koenig gets to the lane. Froling. Gonna have to put it up. Madgen with a tough lean away, doesn't get it to go. And again, they clean up the mess, New Zealand, with McGoldrick with the defensive rebound.
That was a good defensive possession for New Zealand. They did a lot of switching, a lot of rotations, and were very effective.
McGoldrick goes inside with the lob. Davidson off the glass for 2. And since the timeout, both the defensive stop and the offense, as normal so far with New Zealand, they really do come out of the timeout and execute what they've been asked to do. 8 and 10 respectively in the paint for both teams. Hill puts it on the floor, gets to the middle, far side of the ring, scoops it, doesn't get it to drop, and that'll be a rebound foul. Where's that high-low? Davidson does a great job at sealing a space for the pass.
And Davidson and Madgen have been teammates together for many years, so they will know exactly what each other are capable of doing.
Froling makes the first from the line. Another Opal that's had a impressive tournament so far. Ledger Walker, Goldrick should have gone, goes inside now, but it's a little late. Imagine, as you say, read it, just gave it an extra second to adjust, gets a deflection. Imagine outside for 3 is good. And Tess Madgen is leading by example right now.
She is, and that was a nice little drive by Maley, and straight out to her captain, ready to shoot it.
11-2 run for the Opals, trying to break this open early. Lead it 18-11. Ledger Walker. Second move and goes to her sister for the three is no good. Tough off the glass is good for Maley, and she really has been positive every single moment on the floor.
Well, she brings such energy, not only on the boards, but we could see her in that instance really running the floor and handling the ball, finishing strongly.
McGoldrick really struggling to get anything out of this set. Under 5 seconds. Ledger Walker for the three is way off. And well, Tess Madgen's going to knock down the first three of the game. She started that possession with the great work defensively, and she's just had a tremendous impact on the game. Just makes so many things happen for the Opals. Here's Charlie Hill. Guarded by Hunter. Maley again just gets it, goes, has to step back for the tough one and gets it to go. If you don't guard her, she's going to attack you.
Well, she's really thriving in this, you know, the height difference isn't there. She's not having to battle quite as hard defensively with that height, and she's really showing what she can do on the offensive end.
They go again to the lob to Davidson, who seals and is fouled on the floor. Just taking a little time to get it. The pass is there, they're just taking a little too much time.
And the problem being is that as that time is, everybody realizes that pass is going, so the help in that case with Nicholson is able to get there and make it really difficult for Davidson to make a clean catch.
It's a holding foul before the ball comes in. Both teams in the penalty, so it's a two-shot foul. And we saw when she did get some minutes, Hunter has a nice stroke. She's still only 22 years of age. Reed with the offensive rebound. Davidson will come high. They're going to run back outside. Someone's got to lift. Davidson's got to put this up. Goes to reverse layup. Tough move.
They need more of that from Davidson. She needs to assert herself on this game. She needs to demand that ball inside. She's a good finisher when she gets it in the position she wants to.
Hill gets it to Madgen. He's been out there the whole quarter. Hill steps back for the three. Is no good. And that will do it for quarter one. And the Davidson 2 closes it to a single-digit margin at the end of the first. Australia, with a really competitive, strong start to the game, lead it 22-14, and Tess Madgen has been exceptional.
Well, she's led by example, as you said, and she's got 8 points right now, but it's the way she's doing it. Everything she does is aggressive, it's assertive, it's really dominant to what, you know, the way that she's played in the other games, because, I mean, she's had some other good games, but this one she's in particular leading her team.
Well, we're going to get a look at the best plays of that first quarter. And we got a trademark Ledger Walker pull up too. And we haven't seen anything like it since, though. And she's been a little bit anonymous since she's come back on the floor. And her and Davidson are so important points-wise that those two really have to get it going for New Zealand.
Well, we have to remember Tupaia took a knock there and came out of the game, and so they had to go to their bench really early, their rotation, but a nice lob pass into Davidson and finish, and that's what they're going to have to do a little bit more of and time it. But Anneli Maley, she's just been energy off the bench.
Well, once Australia started to run and maybe get the tough one off the glass, they got a lot of quick looks, and New Zealand have got no points in transition as such in that first quarter. Australia have had the 3 or 4 opportunities and have taken every single one of them.
Well, as we said, this game isn't as quick as it was with Japan or China. But if Australia can get out on the break, and you know, they've got a much deeper bench right now with New Zealand being restricted in their rotations. If they can push that ball and get some easy transition baskets, that'll go a long ways in securing the win.
Just before the start of their second quarter, just to remind you of the Courtside app. You can download that. The QR code will come up at various points of this game. You just saw it then. All FIBA basketball action, this club as well as international action there. Check it out. Don't forget, there's a World Cup around the corner for the men. And that's one of the places you can see that application. Davidson out top. Looks to hand off, but Hill just would not allow that handoff to happen. Ledger Walker wraps it. McGoldrick attacks the closeout, stops and pops and gets the 2. And McGoldrick, who really early in the competition really just was seen as a shooter, did a nice job. And he goes straight at it though and finishes on the far side of the ring.
And that's the best way that Anneli Meili can play, sort of in the open court and if not so much structure. And you can see that she just loves to get to the basket.
Reed, Ledger Walker with a quick release, whistle on the play. Well, here's the majority. The closeout, Kane gets to the bottom of the circle, pulls up. That's another addition, but if Meili gets going in the open court, she's not stopping.
Well, the defense isn't set, and that's the best way she can go. That utilizes her strengths.
Really having an impressive tournament here. Ledger Walker moves it on. Hunter has got to go inside, but doesn't. And Davidson is going to get frustrated if she doesn't see more of the ball, especially if the Australians have switched.
Well, in that case there, a nice little pass fake inside, because defense would go to Davidson, take 2. But then there has to be a little bit of movement on the outside. Both perimeter players on the skip pass stood still, and she actually passed it right in between them.
Hill. Hunter doing a nice job at containing her, but now she's going to have to guard the inside as they've switched. The mid-range 2 is good, and that is sweet. And she gets her feet set. Froling, Keely Froling with her feet set. It's in the backs. Ledger Walker moves the basketball. Reed again gets to the lane, off the glass, is fouled, doesn't get the drop, but will go to the free throw line. Given middle, the Opals to...
She is explosive off that first step, Reed, and we've seen it all tournament.
You see the angle of the body, Laurie. She just gave it a middle lane. One thing with New Zealand as this tournament has progressed, their free throw shooting is just not where they need it to be. They're a 60% free throw shooting team. And a low-scoring team like New Zealand have to take those opportunities. Again, in transition, straight out the main. Free throw and the easy 2 is good for Kunik. And again...
That shouldn't happen.
Never. Happened to them against Japan as well, New Zealand. Reed finds Hunter, gets her feet set, fires it up, but goes after her own and gets the putback. Rushed on the shot, but she didn't quit on the play. Australia in the half court. Great defense by Davidson, really gets a piece of it. She's going to pick this up, and they need some defense. Ledger Walker to the hoop, and Hill they do remarkably well. Nicholson did so well not to foul. Ball's gone off Australia, will be a New Zealand basketball. And this is off that made free throw. And give a layup up.
Coach killer. coach pull your hair out.
Absolutely. Reed again being aggressive. That's going to be offensive. And that's great defense.
It is great defense, because that's not easy. She was at speed to keep herself in front of her and to be able to get that contact and get it in the middle of her body and draw a charge. That is great defense. That's Reed's second foul.
Heel. Hunter's doing a nice job keeping Heel in front of her. But Australia runs some nice stuff once they get into it. And again, the ball reversal creates the opportunity to go inside. Froling again going to work, goes to the baseline, is fouled, and she'll go to the line. And Hunter may well put her palms up, but she just walked through Froling as she turned to the baseline for the jumper. You like the effort, but
Keely Froling, over the course of the tournament, has averaged 10 points a game, 6 rebounds. And she's showing why. She's putting her hand up to go, hey, I know these other players aren't here, but look at me. You know, I think I should be there for Paris. If they qualify. They have to go through that qualifying tournament yet. We can't make those assumptions.
And those qualifying tournaments are literally so tough. Ledger Walker creates to the ring, and it's the underside again. Got to finish that play, did everything right. Nicholson has it. Then he puts it on the floor, pretty easy too, but she blows it. New Zealand dodging some bullets at the moment. They're down 11, it could have been worse. They've missed some easy shots themselves. McGoldrick will hand off. Hunter. Davidson needs the basketball.
She does. She's presenting every single time.
And Ledger Walker takes a tough three.
You have to reward your bigs. If they run, you have to get them the ball, and if they seal like she's been doing, you've got to get them the ball.
Sheila Hill takes an early one. Nicholson inside tries to thread the eye of a needle on the pass. Hill sit. And Watchthe is back. Ledger Walker sits down for New Zealand. Penina Davidson's going to be a very frustrated big at the moment.
Well, the thing is if you work so hard to get position, you present and you don't get it, eventually you stop working that hard to get it, you know, and it takes its toll, so you've got to reward them. And she's smart enough. She's not just going to shoot it. She can distribute it right back out to her shooters if she's not open.
Can't get the two to drop. Ball's gone out of bounds. Will stay with Australia. I think it came, yep. 5 seconds on the possession, which appears to be a little quick, given it was a 14-second reset, but they have gone back to 14. Important time here for New Zealand. They cannot dig themselves a hole. Australia want to increase this margin going into the half. Watchthe penetrates, super finish. Saw a drive lane, didn't need the second invitation.
She just had her head up, eyes on the target so early.
Reed hits the second side, McGoldrick. Ledger Walker, she'll go inside. The pass was just about got there. Beck can't make it. Holding foul on Watchthe on the offensive boards, but there's an example. If Davidson's got pressure, she's going to kick it out. The pass was, let's just say it took forever to get there, though. Gordrick comes off the double. Ledger Walker will take the ball screen. Looks to break it down. McGoldrick cuts. Nice pass, nice find. Great challenge. The wide open shot for Reed is good.
That was right in front of us, and that leaving her hand never looked like missing.
Chloe Bibby in the game for Australia. Nice challenge by her on that penetration by McGoldrick. Hunick skips it. She with her feet set for a long two is no good. And 5 to go in the half. Ledger Walker, the crystal version. Nice pass, easy two. And Davidson has got to be turning around saying, look, every time I'm touching it, good things are happening.
That's right.
8-point game, New Zealand hanging around. Uchi. And Watchthe just does a nice job for the team, but she needs some movement. McGoldrick is long with a 3, picks up her own board.
Couple of old boards now New Zealand have had, giving them second chance opportunities.
Ledger Walker on the floor, goes to work, little floater is way short. Watchthe has it. She's dangerous in the open floor, but has to kick, wide open. Rolling for 3 is off. And we can't collect, but Davidson cleans up the mess. Davidson puts it on the floor, draws some contact. Well, here's the replay of the 3 for Reed. And Davidson's going to sit. And timeout. And we'll get into this Australian timeout. And the last few possessions, Laurie, they've lost their way a little bit.
Well, I was just saying, they've really opened the door for New Zealand.
Especially down that end, everyone's expecting someone else to do it for them. Get the rebound, right, switch them out, right, whatever. We've got to be more aggressive, more active. You got me? Yep, like we're not with it at that end. And then this end here, everyone's trying to do it on their own. So I've got it, I'm going to go, I'm going to take this shot, right? Like, we've got to get back to what makes us good, right? Which is knuckling down there and then executing at this end, right? Let's play, if they're going to switch, right? Let's play out of circles more often. Roll, right? 4, come over. Look at the high-low. If it's not on, cut, play. Maddie, you come back, and then we finish, right? Either with the high pick and roll, or if Penina is guarding Maddie, get out, throw it here, and then attack that and create. Right? But move it.
He made some very good points in that timeout, especially defensively. You can't be relying on your teammate, oh, she'll do it, and then at the offensive end, all about team basketball.
Yep.
And they've been so good at that throughout this tournament.
Well, Tess Madgen checks back in after that timeout. The other interesting thing that came up was those 11 points from New Zealand's turnovers. Australia have really capitalized on those. Ledger Walker goes inside. Tamilo has it knocked away by Madgen, who just joins the game and has an impact. Watchthe comes off the screen. Sherv looks inside, has position in the same way that Davidson needed. She needs it. Madgen penetrates, needs a pass. Bibby with the 3 is good. Sweet looking release.
Well, we know Bibby from her play at a clubland in Australia, how she's a catch and shoot. She's got a great 3-point shot.
Camilo for the high post, off the glass. Not sure she caught it, but we'll give her the benefit.
Tell you what, for an 18-year-old playing on this international stage, there's not a lot to her. There's a lot of height. She's done a fantastic job.
Madgen's shot comes up short. And New Zealand, in single digits, really are doing a nice job at hanging around. Tamio comes high, waits for the action. It's going to go back to Crystal Walker. Ledger Walker stops, pops, doesn't get it to go. Madgen again with a positive stat. She's just accumulating numbers. Watchthe, nice look. Shref just about hangs on. Inside, outside for the 3 is no good. Reed. Beck just about hangs on.
Australia doing a good job of forcing New Zealand way out of the perimeter.
Crystal Ledger Walker, a lot of bodies on. She fires up the 2, is short. And Watchthe leads the break, but no one really committing in the Opals to get ahead of the ball. He puts it on the floor. Wow. Schreff with a great release, gets the 2. New Zealand are going to take the timeout. Goes to an 11-point lead for the Opals. They lead this 37-26. Is it me, before we get into this timeout, did both teams look a little gassed?
I was just thinking the same thing. Heavy legs. There's no run in any of them. You feel like in the past games there's been some opportunities to get rebound and run, but there's just nobody for anybody to kick ahead of. So have a listen to Guy Malloy.
We drive off, roll it really deep, come down towards the nail, and then pop back. And when we go to here, okay, remember we want the 4, so that's going to be Terra. You're going to make a really good hard cut through and whip back up. So try and get about the elbow here, okay. Pete, and then you're going to get Stella to come off. And what we're really looking at here is see if we can get the timing for Stella to make the next pass to Terra, and then we'll look high-low. And if you don't have that, then you can go back up to Charlize, and then we'll play out of that at the end. Okay, here we go. Come on, lock in. Good 2 minutes.
Oh, that stat there, only 1 steal. A team that's averaging 7 steals a game, only 1. That's another indicator energy-wise. Australia, 6 steals already, and they have turned turnovers into points. 11 points off turnovers so far.
Well, you have to remember too, for New Zealand, they're down 2 guard rotations right now with Dalton out. Didn't start the game with suspected concussion, and Tupaya, we just know, got an injury early on to that shoulder of her that's been heavily strapped all tournament.
Ledger Walker, Davidson as the trailer, wants to hit the second side. McGoldrick goes back door, nice pass, blows the layup, spent too much time trying to avoid the contact. Here's Madgen in transition. No one really ahead of her apart from Schreff in the block. Goes baseline and kicks. The extra pass. Bibby for 3 is long. And Davidson does a super job holding space. Clarisse Ledger Walker would advance it. Reed doesn't hit the corner. Davidson will. She'll hand it off, but Madgen takes away the handoff again. Reed, we're at 5 on the clock. Gonna have to put this up. And that's a 24 violation. There you saw the forearm into the nose. Don't think there was anything intentional as well. It was intent to hold space, but nothing bad. Watchthe is knocked away. 42 seconds remain, and New Zealand would love to get into this halftime break in single digits. Australia would love to be at 15. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Quick release, got to finish. Schreff can't complete. Super little out of bounds option. Ledger Walker hits Davidson as the trailer. McGoldrick. Beck tries to go inside, now tries to force one up. Australia can't clean up the mess. New Zealand just hunts it down. About a 5-6 second differential. Ledger Walker has got to go, otherwise we're going to be deep on that clock, and she's fouled. But Australia in the penalty are going to send New Zealand to the free throw line.
I think she was lucky she got bailed out there, because I'm not sure she knew how much time. There was only a matter of 2 or 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yeah. And Watchthe's got to be a little smarter than failing when she's on the sideline that way. Giving the referee the opportunity to send Ledger Walker to the free throw line. Ledger Walker to make this a 9-point game with 9.3 left in the half. And Australia are going to use the last timeout of the half. Sometimes you think maybe it's better just to run in the broken play because Guy Malloy now has the opportunity to structure his defense. But there's no right and wrong. It's what works for each individual coach. Let's take a listen.
Right. Go, Maddie, you're going to get it on the sweep, right? So throw here, right? I want to go... go, Tess, you're there, right? Bibbs, you're there, Sherfy there, right? So catch it on the run, right? Sherf, come set a high step up or throw it and get it back. And now we're attacking the baseline. You're hammer screening for Bibbs, right? And then Sherfy, you'll just clean up Alice. So if you get in here and have nothing, Alice will be right behind you. Okay, cool with that? So see if we can get something with speed here, right? Get a good shot. Cool with that? Let's go.
Be interested to see if Guy Malloy comes out and throws a zone at them and tries to mix things up a little bit.
And the other thing is New Zealand have 2 fouls to give. So,
yes,
you know, they could really, as long as they put the right people in the game so that they're not going to be really adversely affected by any fouls they pick up, you know, they could literally kill these last 9 seconds.
And you want to go into the halftime. If you can go in under 9 points, it's still a ball game.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's got a mix of starters and a few other people. Well, that's a bit quick on the call. And Charlize Ledger-Walker picks up a second. He's going to leave her in. And they go long. Watchthe just attacks it. Off the glass for 2. Super finish. Super finish. And Davidson just too slow to deny the pass. Australia finished the half with a great drive by Madison Roche. And they lead it at the half, 39-28 in this 3rd place game at the Women's Asia Cup.
Well, I tell you what, historically right now at this stage, Australia are searching for a point guard. They need a legitimate point guard to lead this team in the next few years, and Maddie Roche is putting her hand up right now during this tournament. She has gotten better and better every single game.
So we're going to get a look at stats, and 1 for 10 for New Zealand just jumps right out at you.
It does, and it's, you know, they're not a particular, they don't take a lot of threes, but they're not looking inside like they normally do. And we've talked about Davidson presenting, and they need to find ways and means to get her the ball. But Froling there leads the way, 10 points for Australia, coming off the bench, having a great tournament. Well,
Froling and Magid in particular have been exceptional for Australia in that first half, as we're going to see the best plays of that second quarter. And as we were talking, the only 3 that New Zealand have made was the Reed one off of the offensive rebound where the defense had just collapsed off. So it's Davidson touching the ball, or he'll just open up so many other options apart from giving her the opportunity to score as well.
Well, and you just sense that New Zealand, that they're running some structure but not meaningful, and then it gets into Ledger-Walker's hand at the end of the shot clock and forced to do something, and it's just they need to talk about that at halftime. But you can see every single time that they get their feet in the paint, something happens. Yeah. Now, she kicked it out, but she kicked it out because she had drawn the defender. We see that wide open shot from Reed that you were mentioning.
And Reed's done that, and others, and McGoldrick has done that when the ball has touched the paint. If they can get the ball inside New Zealand, and Davidson either scores, as she's shown as she can, or kicks it, it's a much better option. In some ways, Australia have done a good job preparing for the pick and roll with Ledger-Walker.
Yes.
And Davidson, we almost need to go back to day one where she was absolutely dominant against Korea.
And there we see that last basket from Maddie Roche just to end the half and put the Opals up by 11 points.
Well, we'll take a break and we'll see you shortly for the second half to see who is the 3rd place team at the Women's Asia Cup.
Unique character. Unique chemistry.
FIBA Basketball World Cup is the peak of the game. It's the toughest competition in the basketball world to win.
That is why I will be there.
Because when you win for one,
You win for all.
Wow, downtown three is good. Castillo was halfway down the Olympic Boulevard on that one.
Picks up the dribble. Watchthe. Shot clock to red numbers. The penetration. She's rejected. Great defensive play from Watchthe, who leads the competition in block shots, unsurprisingly.
Super pass, super cut. Great block. McGoldrick came from the weak side and read it really well. She did not get caught on her heels. McGoldrick. Walker, who handles it in that type really well, and one.
She is somebody that they need to rely on to get points on the board.
On in the break. Park Ji-soo with a little alley-oop. Timing on the pass by Kim Dan-bi was just exceptional. Blocked, unceremoniously blocked. Read it, and Clarine just said, no, you're not getting 2 feet and getting it away. Just slapped it out of bounds. Miyazaki pushes and pushes quickly. Mooley in the corner for 3 and 1.
See, that was just such smart, high basketball IQ.
Oh, and Tamilo, who's chasing it down. The 18-year-old gives it up. Should be an easy 2. Gives it back.
Nice play by New Zealand.
And Tamilo will be thinking, what's hard about this? Why were my teammates struggling so much? Comes out and just blocks it and runs and gets the 2.
Good defense from the Australian captain, Watchthe. Finishing touches on the buzzer. What a play from China. They grabbed the lead right on the halftime buzzer. It was well prepared.
Yeah, they challenge you on every possession. Beck falls, and that's going to be on a highlight. Super move, got her on the back foot, pulled up, pulled the trigger. Well, welcome back to Sydney. We're at half-time of the third-place game of Women's Asia Cup. And well, you've got Keely Froning in shot, and she has been exceptional today. Hasn't missed from the floor or from the line for her 10 points. Across the game last night, you saw the issue she had there, only shooting 20%, and she's one of those players. Her and Tess Madgen have really set the tone for this Australian team.
Well, they're doing everything right on the court, and they're you know, hopefully their teammates are following in the same light, because Tess Madgen, she came out with a scoring mentality and was aggressive in everything she did, and played a real captain's role in that first half, especially the first quarter.
And it's so important for the team that when she comes out, and you mentioned, I think both John and you mentioned last night, that with Watchthe at the point, it frees her up a little bit to be a scorer.
Well, I think it takes her mindset off of having to carry the ball and carry the ball under pressure against those better teams. So now, and Watchthe's done a good job of bringing it up the floor and bringing it at pace, and so it frees up Madgen to come off some screens, to get her feet in the paint without that pressure of having to handle the ball all the way.
Well, for Guy Malloy and New Zealand, they're missing Tyler Dalton at the start, then Tupaia went down with that shoulder, but she went down, if you remember, in the game against Korea, but came back because it might just be an immediate pain thing, and then they managed it, but I'm not sure if she's going to come back today.
I don't think she is, and she's had history with having problems with that shoulder, and I think in that Korea game, yes, it did get knocked, but maybe not enough, and she's had it strapped. But even then, you could see her grimacing once in a while, and I think that probably was the final straw when we just saw that knock there, because she grabbed it and ran straight off the court.
Right, so if you step out, catch it, right, like that, the left side. Maddie, go and cut down and then set a screen on her, right? You're going to come off. Now, if there's no one there, you have a layup, right? If they switch, right, just go straight into a handoff with Alice. Darcy, as that's happening, sprint to here, right? And Maddie, you're going to pop to that seam there, right? So now if they've switched it, right, come off, throw it there. Maddie, you're downhill against the mismatch. Cool with that? Right? If they didn't switch it at the start, right, then we can get back to pick and roll. Okay, cool with that? Yeah. Beautiful. Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
Well, you mentioned it earlier in the call, Mark, that the Opals right now have 14 points from turnovers, and so that'll be a key area for New Zealand. They've got 12 turnovers already to take care of the ball, because if that's an easy basket for Australia, it really lets the heat out of the game.
Well, there is that QR code. Download the app, the Courtside 1891 application, all about international basketball schedules, highlights, stats, stories. It's all on that application. And check out the details. International competition, club and international and national team across the year. Various options for you. Don't forget the World Cup in the Philippines, Japan, and Indonesia at the end of August. The biggest men's tournament there is in the world right now. But now we're back here, Women's Asia Cup, here in Sydney at the half-time of the third place playoff, and Australia with the 11-point lead and the basketball. Sharif has it out top, puts it on the floor, off the dribble, can't get it to drop, but Watchthe hunts it down, gets it back on the baseline, tries to scoop it. Australia all over this one. Tess Madgen skips it. Watchthe with the three is blocked. And there's the violation. And Hunter got a piece of Watchthe's three.
Great endeavor by Hunter. She's the one person on the New Zealand team that wasn't in the starting lineup, has come in for Talia Tupaia and has done a great job. Doesn't look out of place at all.
Great hands by Garvin. It gets, she wants the second touch, but the official says no. Just have to execute. Most teams, when they come off playing Japan, execute better because they've been playing against so much speed.
And so much pressure as well.
Absolutely. Here's Reed. She'll advance the basketball. Someone else who's has enhanced her reputation in the way she's played for New Zealand in this tournament. Gets it on the pick and pop, looks inside. Whistle on the play, and again, you mentioned it, Beck on a catch and go.
She's trying to plead her case that it was a shot when in fact it was trying to get a lob pass into Davidson, but good on her for trying.
Yeah, you got to ask.
Got to ask the question.
Davidson is the release, mid-range. Doesn't look at knocking down the short shot. Gives it back to Ledger-Walker, who stops and takes a tough one. Madison Watchthe goes inside to Garvin. And we were talking at the half, Darcy Garvin's got to impose herself a little bit more because the team need her. Ledger-Walker. Reed rips it, goes to the ring, can't get it to go. The ball will stay with New Zealand. Well, there was that pick. And Ledger-Walker went a long way sideways, tough screen. Beck flares off that screen. 7 on the possession. Ledger-Walker getting deep on the clock again. Now tries to go to work, takes a tough one on the lean away for 2.
That is tough. She had to change her angle as she was going to the basket. Nice finish.
Three is no good for Magin. Haven't taken many, just one pass and released the 3, but that wasn't no good. Ledger-Walker for the 2 in transition.
A little bit of energy coming from New Zealand at the moment.
Straight little whistle on the play. That's going to be offensive as Garvin tried to go deep. But here's that tough one. And you got to feel a little sorry, if that's the right word, for Darcy Garvin. Like, she's put herself physically into the game with the 2 rolls. One she gets and gets the 2, and then the referee calls her for just a little bit of physicality, which is, well, as anyone watching who's watched national team basketball will know. Great little penetration is no good. Davidson owns it, but can't get the finish. And Surf brings down the defensive rebound. Magin looks inside. Garvin wants. Trying to emphasize going to her. There's a foul on the play. She was passing off. Ledger-Walker picks up her 3rd. And
certainly seems like there's a focus for Garvin right now to get herself inside. Maybe stretch the floor with Scherf looking at some high-low, but we haven't seen a lot of that from her where she's been productive inside.
Absolutely. Well, Magin in the first half, Garvin in the second. Wants it, demands it, goes strong, off the glass and 1. Where was that in the first half? Because Australia was so much better when Darcy Garvin wants to play that hard. Unless it is just a point of emphasis that they've come from the bench.
Well, because we just haven't seen it most of the tournament. She hasn't been rebounding strongly. We know she can shoot the 3 ball, but it's good to see her. You've got to be versatile when you're that big. You can't just be a pick and pop type player. If you've got to roll, you've got to be strong out there. You've got to present.
Completes the 3-point play. Stella Beck will advance the basketball. Dangerous moments for New Zealand here. They're down 12 and they've started reasonably well in the second half. Davidson, who still needs the ball more often, is fouled on the floor. I'll still make the point, Laurie, that when she touches the ball, New Zealand are just so much better in so many ways.
Well, she is their most experienced player. She's got a high IQ, so why not get it in her hands? Let her make some decisions out there.
She's going to release the sideline pressure. Crystal Ledger-Walker in the game now. Hunter. 4 on the possession. Has to take it, and that got swallowed up by Lauren Scherf, who comes high, looks high-low. Garvin just holds space and gets it to go.
She is just demonstrating what we are talking about here in the call, and it's great to see.
Well, one of the most experienced people on that lineup. really come into play at the start of the second half.
Well, she's one of the 3 players that were at the World Cup. There you go. There's Davidson again being involved.
Gets it back to 12. And for all Arbin's excellence at the start of this half, New Zealand still hanging around at 12. They just need to get it back to single digits, put some pressure on the Opals. Heel gets it to the corner. Imagine, quick first step to the middle. Drops it inside. Schroff off the glass for 2, blows it. And New Zealand dodge a bullet. Ledger Walker takes the high screen, still goes, needs a pass. Davidson collects, goes through the arms, and will go to the free throw line. Well, this is that great seal, and she's double teamed and through the traffic, gets the 2.
That was a tough finish through physicality there.
And Darcy Garbin, after the tremendous start to the half, 4 minutes in, will sit as the inside combination is changed. Lauren Scherf sits down as well. Annalie Maley in the game. And Davidson makes both, as is Keely Froling. A little bit big, a little bit smaller, a little bit more mobile on the inside now, Australia. Heel tries to wheel and deal in the paint, takes a tough one. Went looking for it, really, didn't come to it. Ledger Walker. Davidson wants, they're gonna skip it. Hunter, who can shoot the 3, throws the air ball.
Now this is where Maley's at her best.
If you don't stop her, she's gonna go. Koenig tries to create an angle. Off the tough one, is fouled on the way up, and Beck is beside herself with the call.
I know that we heard in one of the timeouts Coach Shannon Seabaum talking about we're going too much one-on-one. We're taking it upon ourselves to attack every single time. And whilst I think you have to, in a transition situation, kick the ball up, explore that first 8 seconds of the shot clock, but if nothing's there, get it back out. I think we saw Shyla Heel probably force a shot there. Alice, well, she got a call and she's at the line. You know, there was a lot of pressure on her when she punched it in. It's a fine line.
Yeah, it's a very fine line. The better teams here, the teams who are in the final, share the ball in those moments and look for a higher percentage shot. Here's Beck. Ledger Walker, long way outside the 3-point line, can't really threaten from there. Beck, only 7 on the possession. Ledger Walker has it stripped. Koenig wheels, deals, gets to the ring with the left hand, throws a pull on, but mainly just bows her out and just outworks everybody. But that's almost a phrase you could take every time she's on the floor.
Well, that's her trademark, is her energy, her rebounding. She's certainly added her scoring impact, the string to her bow as well, but right now she's just demonstrating her energy and her rebounding prowess.
Well, every team would love an Annalie Maley on the team. Just sometimes those things don't show up on the stat sheet either, do they? Just the physicality that she brings. 1 for 2 from the line of balls. Saved by Davidson. And Reed stayed around to make the effort worthwhile. She pushes, she's not been stopped. She gets to the keyway, needs a pass. Decided she needed to kick it out to the corner. McGoldrick, that's her spot in the corner. She's wide open and knocks it down for 3.
Great extra pass by Beck.
Nicholson just moves it on. Australia hit that second side. Here's Magin out top, looks to explore it. Still on the dribble, tries to create an angle. Now she needs a pass. The 3 from the corner is good. Great movement off the ball as Koenig just got open and Magin found her. Trading 3s at the moment. Davidson high, faces. Beck, nice little curl. Better pass, and I think Reed would have put it up. 6 on the possession again, and New Zealand getting deep on the clock. McGoldrick having made 1, can't make it 2. Imagine leads the break, gives it up. Koenig in transition is off, and who wouldn't expect Maley to get the rebound? Just a tremendous offensive board again. Furlong that time goes up, does Magin off the glass for 2 is good. All about the Keely Froling effort to get the offensive rebound.
Wow, that was a driving lane, was wide open. There wasn't not one New Zealand player had their feet in the paint in that instance.
Never had a chance to set their defense, did they?
No.
Got the McGoldrick 3, and then she missed the next one coming back, but Keely Froling and Annalie Maley are just a combination that is so hard to keep off the glass.
All right, so we're in terrors, drag, all right? And then when we get to the third side, let's try that again, inside split. Now, I love the confidence for you to shape up and take the shot. It's got to be the same thing. Did a great job of driving hard, stride, stop. Look at the ring, all right? Because sometimes it's just a quick shot fake and turn and you can score. So we've got to do basic things really well. Lock into the defensive transition. Koenig doesn't have the open 3. Tess doesn't have the open layup. Come on, here we go. Just flow, just flow.
Well, New Zealand were at giving up 11 at the half from turnovers. It's at 15 now, so it's a better effort in this second quarter in terms of not turning the ball over. But as Coach Malloy said, transition, they've got to lock in a little quicker. Here comes Reed, Tiara Reed will look to hand it off. Goldrick, they go high. Tamilo in the game, going to hand it off. Goldrick off the glass for 3 is fouled. She'll go to the free throw line. Will be disappointed she's not shooting 1.
She did a great job using that screen and making sure she tried to get her shoulders square with him. And Alice Koenig was fighting hard to get over, and that they were shoulder to shoulder. So good recognition to take it all the way to the basket and draw the foul.
Core of this New Zealand team around that young 20s, mid-20s age is going to be here for a while, so the signs are good for New Zealand basketball, and they're hanging around here.
Well, the experience that they're getting, these young players from the international stage right now.
Koenig gets fouled, but I'm a little bit with Coach Malloy. All the contact pretty much initiated by, well, you can Crystal Ledger-Walker if she was charged with the personal, but they've called it on McGoldrick.
There's the 2 injured players on your screen.
And Koenig played with Sopron, one of the better teams in the Hungarian top league. She's used to that type of contact going to the ring. Beck moves it on. Reed looks inside, but there's no Davidson. Ledger-Walker takes an early 3 for New Zealand, and here comes Maley. Reverses it via Magin, who has a look at her options. Will take the Froling screen, who dives. Nice lift. Nicholson, super lift, super drive, and makes the 2. Nicholson really moved exceptionally well.
Both teams are really switching everything. There's no super height advantage with anything, so it's about which team can read that switch better.
Well, I'll get a replay of well, it's an easy 2 in the end for Lauren Nicholson, but all the tough work and the smart work was done on the timing of the lift and then the catch and go. But here is Viatora Tamilo. A few months ago, I can't believe she'd have thought that she would be playing in a third-place game of a Women's Asia Cup, getting minutes, making a contribution, and even being on the highlight of yesterday's game.
That's right.
58-41, and Australia really beginning to assert now. Nicholson comes off the screen away, looks to explore options. Madgen can't get the three to go. Great work by Nicholson on the glass. She comes down with the offensive rebound, and Tess Madgen has it. Doesn't want the screen, will go down the middle hard and kick. And he penetrates, dishes it off, and Tess Madgen completes the two.
Tess Madgen's just controlling everything out there right now.
You can't underestimate the role she had in that pressure game against Korea, just leading this team. Skip pass, McGoldrick can't collect, and they've turned it over. So Madgen gives it to Maley, Maley gives it back to Madgen, and the easy two. All about the ball movement, the attack, the gap. Tess Madgen handling the ball now. Maley looks inside, Froling gets a touch. Inside out. Madgen needs a pass. Turns it over, no one really moved to see a clean line sight of the ball. Ledger Walker. Davidson, I'm going to say it again, needs a touch. Finally, she gets it, one-on-one in the post, gets an angle, and scores.
Well, at least they found that extra, the best angle from the wing to get it in, and they didn't try and force it from high.
Koenig getting extended minutes here with a three is good. Nice release.
Koenig has 14 points now.
Crystal Ledger-Walker goes inside. Davidson is fouled and will go to the free throw line. There's always going to be a foul if she's allowed to catch it that deep.
And that's one thing Davidson does a great job with is she uses her strength, she uses her physicality, her body. She does the work nice and early, and she gets herself open. That was really difficult for Keely Froling to try and get around her.
Yeah.
She holds that seal so well.
And she's normally a very, very solid free throw shooter. Makes the first. And goes 2 for 2 from the line. Australia with the big lead at the moment. Have it under control. Koenig doesn't get it away. And that will do it for the end of the third quarter. And Australia have really asserted themselves in that quarter. They lead this one 63-45 at the end of three. New Zealand not going away, but Australia beginning to build that lead.
Again, the shooting percentages for New Zealand, their woes continue from the three-point line, 14%, 2 from 14. And as we've said, all commentary, get your feet in the paint, get the ball inside to Davidson, let her make some decisions out there, whether she goes to work or kicks it back outside.
Well, Darcy Garvin was the story at the first part of that third quarter. She got touches most times down the floor and was very assertive.
I think that must have been a directive from the coaching staff to get yourself inside. Let's look for her. Let's, make sure that she's really constructive when she does get the ball, and we saw that. See her sealing here inside and a strong finish.
But she played the first 4 minutes and they're up, so coaches decided to, rotate, and they really have exerted some control. New Zealand tried to hang around McGoldrick with that three, and Davidson when she got the ball. but with the they would be stretched anyway. But with the 2 injuries that they're now having to deal with, it's a really tough ask.
It is. In New Zealand, Australia, I feel like they've pushed the ball, the tempo a little bit more that half. They've stretched their lead to 18 points, but there just felt like there was a bit more of a spring to their steps. We mentioned at the last bit of the second quarter, both teams looked really leg weary, but I felt like the Opals came out and found a little bit of energy in that third quarter. Certainly Alice Koenig, she's been shooting the ball well. She leads the team with 14 points, followed by Tess Madgen with 12 points.
Well, here we go then, the final quarter for these 2 teams in the Women's Asia Cup in 2023. New Zealand, if they're going to have to try to get back in this game, they've got to score early. They're going to call that offensive, and that did look messy around the ball.
Well, Alice Koenig, she switched so aggressively on that. She forced Ledger Walker to take a step out on there, and then was all over her. She did a great job.
Nicholson will take the ball screen. Koenig looks inside. Scherf needs it, wants it, tries to go to work with a mismatch, goes inside out. Nicholson with a stop and pop, doesn't get it to go. And there's a reaching foul on Annalie Maley. Reed will advance it for Coldrick. Ledger Walker off the ball screen. Davidson will dive and try and go deep. Ledger Walker with that tough pull-up. And if she needs to go for something, that's where she goes. That pull-up, she really does shoot a great percentage. Nicholson will have a look at options. Koenig will skip it. Madgen attacks it hard, gets to the lane, is fouled on the pass. And it will be an Australia basketball on the baseline. Well, one more year at Washington State. And then Charlize Ledger Walker will want to join the professional ranks. Scherf gets it off. May looks at the options. Koenig again stops and pops and drops the 2. She has really grown into a scoring role on this team.
Well, it's been a long time since she's played for the Australian team. She's been overseas plying her trade, learning her craft, becoming very proficient, and so it's really good. This is the first time in a long time we've seen her back in the Australian uniform.
Ledger Walker this time takes it a little deeper and gets the 2. Nicholson stops and fires up the 3. And
great decision by Nicholson. Go under the screen. I'm going to stop and pop it and shoot it.
McGoldrick in her spot and space, but this time can't make it. Rebound by Davison is fouled by Scherf. And she will go to the free throw line. $19-point game for the Opals at the moment. Davidson trying to reduce that margin.
We didn't know a whole lot about Ledger Walker before this tournament, but she's really exploded onto the scene. She's second in all of the scoring in the whole league, only behind Han Shu from China, 18.4 points. So she's really had a breakout tournament.
Oh, absolutely breakout. And I'm sure that Washington State knew what they had, but she really has enhanced her reputation. Did well in 3-on-3 for New Zealand, now doing it in the 5-on-5 game. Tough finish by Magin off the glass. Again, Tess Magin has just had a super game, super tournament. Mainly behind the back, gets to the glass off the window for 2. And another player, you know, that really has enhanced her reputation. The energy she gives, great drive by Reed for 2.
As we said, Annalie Meili, as you can see on screen, loves the open court, loves to use her speed and finishes strongly on that, but she loves that sort of situation.
And in terms of a role, every team, on any team, she can do this. I mean, it's not as if she has to be a shooter or whatever. She really is an effort. Defensively, she'll get out there and run. So as someone who can complement a roster, she's enhancing her reputation. 72-52, a 20-point game with these 2 to come from Reed. Or the 1 to come from Reed. She can't complete.
The thing I like about Tess Magin too is this is her first tournament in, you know, since the World Cup where she got injured. She virtually had only played a half a game of basketball before this tournament. She worked really hard at rehabbing, but Annalie Meili, what a drive, what a quick step that was.
Well, watch this. Rips, goes, steps through, and finishes on the same side of the ring because she's that quick. Doesn't let the help actually get involved at all. Draws the contact. Just imagine getting a little frustrated with her teammates standing still a little bit. The only person she found on the move was Annalie Meili. Can't complete the 3-point play. Magin will have it again with a full team reset. Drives hard. Little jumper in the lane, great work. Meili again comes up with the offensive rebound, but the ball knocked out of her hands, but then came off her, and it will be New Zealand that regain possession. New Zealand will take the timeout. 6:38 to go. It's a 22-point game. And Coach Malloy, who's been exceptional in the way that he has kept everything positive for this team, has now got 6:38 to try and stay positive, attempt to try and get them back in the game. But it's about them for him. It's always about them. Let's take a listen.
Little disciplines, right? We've got to attend to no middle penetration, 1 shot and done. So blocking out strongly. When we go after the ball, grab it, chin it, be really strong and pivot so there's no way they can slap the thing away. So let's attend to that. Looking for purples whenever we can to bump the point guard away. So get it in here, Terra, drag, and then we can really go to work on Scherf on the final side pick and roll. Right? So in fact on this one, let's go shake and we'll shark it right away. So drag it, shark it right away, and then get to work. Now, if the high nail comes in to help like Meili coming in, you got to kick it really quickly. Okay, let's go. Defense.
It should be the one side coming that way.
Well, Australia winning every quarter on their way to winning the 4th. 22-point lead. New Zealand after the timeout. Crystal Ledger-Walker in the backcourt with her younger sister, Faris, who fills the double team, needs a pass. Someone's open. Davidson tries to go to work, gets to the far side of the ring, can't get it to go. And Darcy Garbin back for the first time since that impressive start. Koenig drops it inside to Garbin for 2. Ledger-Walker. Wide open, Hunter for 3 is good. Just find the open guy when you feel the double team.
Absolutely, but that person has to move too so that they can get the pass, because sometimes the double, if it's very aggressive, you've got to help them out.
Yep. Nicholson to the corner. Koenig doesn't need a second invitation to put it up. Garbin's on the glass. She'll kick it out. Tess Madgen has it, attacks it down the lane. Koenig goes again, and she'll kick it. Got to put it up now, though. 3 on the possession. Madgen steps back for the tough 3, hits nothing. And Koenig got deep. I was surprised she decided to kick it out, especially that deep on the clock. Here's Alice Ledger-Walker. Reed, Davidson wants, gets an angle and finishes. Just not enough times as Benina Davidson touched the basketball. Darcy Garvin in this second half is, what's it, the cliche game of 2 halves for her. But then again, her teammates have really got her the basketball. Ledger-Walker will bring Davidson out to the screens. Hard show, but she gets in that little gap again, fires up a tough one. And Tess Madgen advances the basketball. From minute 1, she's led this team today. Inside, nice pass. Ball's knocked away by Crystal Ledger-Walker. Nicholson will check out. And Madison Watchthe checks in. 78-57. Koenig. Going baseline, and went baseline quickly. Now she needs a pass, and no one moved. No one had a clear sight of the ball. Here's Ledger-Walker trying to finish this positively for New Zealand. Great pass. Davidson for 2, blows it.
You know what I liked about that pass? It went from A to B really quickly. It didn't float in the air.
Lee Maddie went out of bounds and still gets back before everybody else to get it. Darcy Garvin got to play through that contact. She hits the deck, no call. And the game tempo is slowing a little bit as Davidson, and it really does look like the end of an Asia Cup right now. These teams have gone only 1 day off.
This is their sixth game in 7 days. Alice Koenig doesn't look like slowing down at all. That's up to her 19th point now.
Ledger-Walker, every second she's been on the floor in this tournament, steps back for the 3, has been under pressure. Watchthe 2-on-1, just got to make the right decision. Stops and pops and doesn't make the 2. McGoldrick keeps a piece of it, and New Zealand dodged that bullet. Here's Reed. Has to get out, but you're right, no one moved for her that time.
And they've been doing that the whole quarter, so they know that that's coming. Any high pick and roll or side pick and roll, they're doubling aggressively, so you have to read that. A couple of times, Davidson's gone to set the screen and then slipped it, but when that's the scout and that's what's happening, you've got to make the adjustments on the fly.
Well, Benina Davidson has yet another double-double in this competition, 19 and 11. And New Zealand take their last timeout. Guy Malloy trying to make sure his charges finish this one in a really positive way.
All right, stay really active here. We're pretty much reading everything. You understand? Switching away on the 3rd side. Now I want to go to our drags here, our shakes, and if it's a trap, we're looking short roll. 4-man, come up. That was a beautiful high-low we had before. So I want Charlize, when she's doubled, to have this girl here, this girl step up out of the corner. We're looking to hit here, and Josie's on the roll high-low. If we don't have it, we go to the corner, 2nd side, 3rd side. But we can get layups if we execute. You know where we're looking to go. You've got to be available, strong with the ball. Get it? Strong with the ball.
Again,
okay, here we go. You're the
trying to make the team better, not just for today, but for what happens to come forward. But here's a question that New Zealand are going to answer. When Carly's Ledger-Walker goes back to Washington State, the Olympic qualifying tournament was in February. That's conference play time in NCAA basketball, and that's going to be a debate they should be having right now, because if they don't, they really need her release for that competition.
They so do. She is so key for this team.
But that's conference play.
Yeah. And she's a senior.
Yeah. I can't believe they wouldn't release in some way, because it's an Olympic tournament. Ledger-Walker comes off the high screen and passes.
And it's so big for New Zealand to, you know, qualify for the Olympics. It's been so long, and you just, those opportunities don't present themselves.
Also big, you hope that the university sees it as big for them as well, having an Olympian. They couldn't get it away. And we've got 1:47 to go for these two teams in this Asia Cup. Both teams made it to the Olympic qualification tournament, but Australia on their way to a third-place finish. Bibi, who doesn't like a three-pointer, she hasn't seen one she doesn't like.
You've picked up on that pretty quickly.
It's a holding foul. I think Watchthe's going to be charged with the hold. (81-59), 1:26 to go. The Opals just have too much of everything.
Oh, that did everything but go down.
Exactly, but too talented, too big, too quick, too everything. Just a higher level team than New Zealand at the moment, and they've demonstrated that. They've had to work hard for it, though. New Zealand have really made them work. When he goes to the inside with a little right-hand push, doesn't get it to go, and McGoldrick comes down with a big-time rebound. Ledger-Walker has it. Turns down the screen, gets inside, nice little shovel pass. McGoldrick can't handle it. What a quick release in transition. Rolling clears up the mess and gets it back to Watchthe, who looks. Ball's deflected away, a little messy. Finishing up here. Watchthe turns the corner in the lane, needs a pass. Bibi gets it away, but that's a 24 violation. Neither team nor coach will be particularly happy with the way the last minute's going to finish. Zero difference, really, between clock and possession. Reed puts it on the floor, kicks it. Ledger-Walker for three is no good. And that will do it. The Australian Opals have had to fight for this, but have asserted themselves to become the third-place team in the Women's Asia Cup 2023. Always great to finish on the win, and there's the confirmation of the final score. They win it 81-59. New Zealand will look back and be very positive about how well they've played in this competition. Disappointed for the moment, but Australia were just too good in every single way.
Well, it's always good to, you know, you have that disappointment of missing out in a gold medal match, and so to come out today in front of their home fans, the Australian Opals will be really happy that they secured that bronze medal.
Well, obviously players and coaches know each other really well, so a lot of genuine congratulations from both sets of players and coaches. But Australia will be on the podium. They've hosted a great tournament, and they will have their place on the podium. And their captain, Tess Madgen.
So proud of everyone. Great job. Awesome weeks. I've really got no words. So proud of you guys. Great job,
Well, her team should be so proud of the way she's led them as well. And the crowd appreciation shown. So Australia are third in the Women's Asia Cup in 2023. We're going to get a chance to look at some highlights of that second half after we look at these stats. And if you're going to shoot 3 for 20 from the three-point line, you're not going to stay in the game.
No, you know, you're not. And you know, when Davidson touched the ball, as we mentioned, all game inside, things happened. She scored. Other people scored when she got it back out, but they just didn't get enough of that, unfortunately. You can see Davidson top scored 19 points, along with Kunick 19 points as well, who played a really good game. But I agree. I think Magin led her team by example. She was the captain out there. She would have had to got her team up after having, you know, a loss against China, a loss against Japan. They're in front of their home fans here, so she would have had to play that role of motivating, and she's one of the few players, and we see that she got player of the game, and she deservedly so. The way she approached the game, especially the way she came out in the first few minutes, her teammates had to follow. But Annalie Meili, wasn't she fun to watch this game?
You always got to just give so much respect, and you got to love watching people like Meili play the game, because they give so much to the group. Her speed is good, she has good size, and she's done nothing but enhance her reputation.
And we know from her play with her club team and just wherever she plays, how she plays, she is a great rebounder, but she's become a great scorer now too. MVP of the professional league in Australia here 2 years ago, and is going again from strength to strength.
Well, Australia gets the third place win. Here's confirmation of that, 81-59. The final is at 3 o'clock local time. Don't miss that one. That's going to be a classic between China and Japan. Nothing to choose between them in recent years, except Japan has actually ended up winning every game. They've all been close. This one will be as well. But for now, from Laurie and I, we'll see you soon for that final. But from Sydney, it's goodbye.